A 140 billion titan of the crypto industry just entered Bitcoin's ecosystem. And we need to talk about what that means for crypto. The largest and oldest, if you want to think of it that way, crypto coin, which is Bitcoin. And now we have the largest of stable coin that's out there called Tether that have now come together in the industry. It's big news. It's $140 billion news, in fact. So it's $140 billion titan to the crypto industry, which is Tether, now pairing up with Bitcoin. Why is that a big deal for me and you? Why does it really matter? Why do we need to think about that? 350 million is the number of people that are using Tether or own Tether in some form, are now going to be able to transact or move money or US dollars over the Bitcoin network. What Tether says, Bitcoin is the most secure blockchain to send dollars globally. So now, because Tether is going to be riding over the Bitcoin network, this could open up a whole bunch more institutional use of Bitcoin and creating more demand for Bitcoin as a currency. And so if it creates more demand as a currency, the old saying that a rising tide lifts all ships. Well, in crypto, a rising tide lifting all ships means the rising tide is Bitcoin, and all the ships are going to be not only Bitcoin itself, but all the other crypto tokens out there that could, really appreciate in price from this development. And so this is something I think it's good news for crypto. I think it's something that we should all be paying attention to. And so this is a new development in crypto, because in crypto up to this time, Tether, for example, which is a stablecoin, have only really existed on smart contract based platforms like Solana, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain, for example. And so now you've got a US dollar based stablecoin, USDT, that's going to be riding over Bitcoin, and that's a new development, something new in the crypto ecosystem. And so I guess we'll have to wait and see if other tokens, other stablecoins rather, like Tether, are going to do the same to ride on Bitcoin. Which another one, for example, will be Circle's USDC, and there are others out there as well. So we'll have to watch that and see what happens. But so what does this mean? What do we really see as a result of this in the industry? Well, before I go into that, I'd like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to the channel if you could, so that way we can keep making the videos, and we'd appreciate it if you could do that. But so what it means for Bitcoin and for the industry is that Bitcoin isn't really just a store of value anymore. So Bitcoin is now really going to have something that, and it's a magic word in the crypto industry, called utility. Utility would, in other ecosystems other than Bitcoin, would be something like facilitating payments, for example, or enabling AI to be transferred, like some of the projects that are going on out there in crypto. So that's the utility of those tokens. And so that's not to say that Bitcoin hasn't been useful in the past. Bitcoin has been extremely useful, right? People make payments with Bitcoin over the Bitcoin network, but it means that the Bitcoin network can be used for payments in other than Bitcoin now in US dollars and USDT. Specifically, the USDT is the Tether stablecoin. So Bitcoin itself is central to the crypto economy. Even the Bitcoin critics would really have to agree with that. So now Tether has taken things up a notch by expanding its reach into this AI-driven economy that we're all living in now, and they're going after this remittances market. They're after it before, obviously, but by being able to be enabled over the Bitcoin network, and it enables the cross-border payments on the Bitcoin network and transactions on the Lightning Network, which is part of Bitcoin network that makes it faster, is going to make these instantaneous payments of USDT over the Bitcoin network enabled, and which is going to be a big deal. The Lightning Network itself facilitates these cross-border transactions, enabling businesses or even banks, right, to send US dollars and Tether into international markets without the hassle of high fees and slow processing times associated with traditional banking systems. That's a big deal. So the Tether CEO, his name is Paul Arduino, I think I pronounced it right, said that bringing USDT into this Bitcoin and Lightning Network, he said it aims to offer practical solutions for remittances, payments, and other financial applications that demand speed and reliability. So that's Tether's take on it. So we have to address, there's kind of an elephant in the room going on with Tether right now. We have to talk about that. It's kind of a big deal, and it's kind of a nagging backdrop, if you will, about what's going on with Tether. It kind of takes the luster off of this announcement just a tad, because there's this whole thing about compliance and regulations that's going on with Tether right now. Why do I say that? Because Tether has not publicly expressed intent to become regular. They're not a regulated entity. They haven't expressed an intent to become fully regulated. Under a big one right now is the European Union's MiCA, which is Markets and Crypto Assets, MiCA for the acronym. The result of that is that there are many exchanges out there, like Kraken, for example, that just announced that they're going to be delisting Tether, taking Tether off of their exchange at the end of February. And so there's others that have done similar, Crypto.com, and even Coinbase came out and said, the CEO of Coinbase said that if regulators said that Tether was not going to get into compliance, and the regulators said that they had to delist them, Coinbase CEO said they wouldn't have a choice, but they would have to. And if Tether, and I think he added, if Tether fails to comply with the new U.S. laws, that Coinbase wouldn't have a choice but to delist Tether. I think personally that Tether's going to get this stuff worked out. I think they're going to come into compliance. They're going to get in compliance with MiCA. I mean, this company is one of the most profitable companies out there on the planet right now. They're made, I forget what the number was, $13.5 billion, I think, last year in profit. I think they're going to get it figured out. They have to get it figured out, because they start getting delisted anywhere nobody can exchange Tether, then it's going to be a problem. And so I think that's going to get figured out. I think, in fact, I think it's a big deal to the United States that it gets figured out, because Tether, a lot of people don't know this, Tether is a huge holder of US Treasuries. They're not in the top 10, but they're still a very huge holder. And so Tether, as a stable coin, you have to understand, it's pegged to the US dollar. How do they peg it to the US dollar? They do that by holding assets that allow them to maintain that 1.00 peg to what the value of the US dollar is. And so what those assets are, they consist today of US Treasuries. They consist of about, I think, high 80% of their assets that they're holding are US Treasuries. They also hold Bitcoin, interestingly enough. The other thing they hold is gold. They actually hold, I think it's somewhere between 3 to 4% of their total assets are gold. And so with those holdings, it allows them to hold the peg to the US dollar. And so with holding that peg to the US dollar, they are able to issue their stablecoin to be traded equally for the dollar. If you think about somebody that's holding billions of dollars of US Treasuries, it's going to be important for all of us that gets figured out, because if Tether doesn't figure that out, then, and they get delisted everywhere and there's no more trading Tether, then that's going to cause a run on Treasuries, and it's going to be an issue. So you got the Bitcoin Lightning Layer 2 solution, right? And which is the Layer 2 on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the Layer 1 and Lightning is the Layer 2. If you want to think of it that way. So Lightning enables that fast, cheap, and scalable off-chain transactions off of Bitcoin, but it's part of the Bitcoin network. And it uses these payment channels and smart contracts to facilitate the stablecoin that I've been telling you about. There's transactions to be sent without congesting the main Bitcoin blockchain. And so that's a big deal. And so the question is, are we going to see other stablecoins come on the Bitcoin network, like USDC I mentioned earlier? I have to see. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe if this was beneficial to you and good content. So thanks for watching.